Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Detox. You've got 1 hour to do the least amount of poses as possible, sit on them for the longest period of time, and discover what we're feeling and what's moving underneath the surface. So, hi Emily, hi Ari. And I know we just got a couple minutes until we start practice, so if you're still getting situated and getting your video set up, and if you're going to stream the music along, you can do that on Spotify, or you can follow me on the Earbuds live stream music app. Hey Roz, good evening. And we're going to start the practice in a seated position. So if you need to prop yourself up and to release some of the tightness or the flexion in your hips, put your yoga block underneath your bum or stack up some pillows. There, a couple blankets so that it's fairly firm. High biz with block. And then you can face the top of your mat. I'm just turned sideways and so that I can face you all. And one ankle crossed in front of the other is fine. And if you want to turn the knees down and go flat shins, and then one ankle is in front, and you're externally rotating your hips to get the tops of your feet and to spiral down onto the mat. If your hip flexors are gripping and still holding on fairly tightly, you can always put a little bit more underneath your bum. Hi, Derek. And then make any little adjustments that you need to. Hey, Tanya. Yeah, I'm going to start the playlist on the earbuds. If you're following along on Spotify, go ahead and start your playlist now. Hi, Darlene. All right. Hey, Frida. So again, I was saying a really easy way of describing this practice, and do as few or as little poses as possible in the hour and stay in them for a longer period of time. And see what comes up underneath the surface, what we're carrying around with us tonight. And it's okay to have thoughts. I want you to know that having thoughts is completely normal and actually encouraged. It's okay to have ideas, of creativity. It's okay to have moments of reflection and where you see something a little bit more clear. All of that is okay. What we're doing as we're falling into the postures is observing that. So there's a difference between observing it and versus grabbing it and then taking it and doing something with it. Observing it, it kind of hangs out and say a foot in front of your face. Or you could say it's like watching a movie as it plays out. And taking it and doing something with it is pulling it down and then starting to act with those thoughts or emotions or whatever they might be. But if you just observe them, there's this beautiful response in a way that is non-verbally communicating with your body and with your mind and with your central nervous system. And so there could be turbulence, there could be peace, there could be anything. We're on a spectrum, we're on a plane, we're in the physical world. And many times the things that we think won't happen will, and the things that we would love to see happen don't. And so let's play with that. And rest with your head above your heart and let your hands rest down onto your knees, onto your thighs. And go ahead and close your eyes down, relax your lips and your jaw, begin to observe the breath first. Let go of any tightness and grip that you're holding on to in your belly tonight. And shoulders fall back and down into their socket. And you're welcome to join me in closing your eyes. Closing your eyes is a difficult excuse me. If closing your eyes is a difficult or too much, then you can always keep your eyes open. Just let them soften on one spot. And this practice right now, this is a gift. This is something somewhere besides us holding the space, and so that we can see whatever we need to see through our practice tonight. As you're continuing to settle, it may feel nice and to let a deeper breath roll through you. If you're agitated or anxious, you trust that this is also normal and that you don't have to react to that. Anxiety, frustration, even something lighter and just feeling a little agitated. You can sit and observe that too. And I hope you all can see the practice. Not that we need to hold ourselves accountable or to be successful in the practice, and that's why it's a practice. But I hope that you can see the difference between observing versus pulling it in and then doing something with it. Let's take 3 empty breaths here. Everybody go ahead and take a breath into your nose. Hold the air in at your top of the inhale. And open your mouth. Exhale, release all the air until your lungs are empty. And do 2 more like that. Take a nice deep breath in to the top. Hold the inhale at the top. Open your mouth. Exhale, release until you are empty. And you may become more aware of the energy that you are carrying right now. Take 1 more big breath in. And when you hold the breath, that's when you might feel it. Hold it. And open the mouth. Exhale to release all of the air. You can let your chin settle down towards your chest. If your eyes were closed, allow your eyes to come back into the space. And let's gently and mindfully change the position of our legs. And so let's come around onto the shins. If you have a yoga block, bring it out in front of you. If you don't have a yoga block, that's okay. You can use a pillow or your folded up blanket. And so yoga block or blanket object is about 3 inches out in front of your knees. You start here with the tops of your feet flat so your ankles are extended. And then let's inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky. And turn your pinky in, roll your thumb out, and so that your shoulder externally rotates. And then bring your right hand behind your head, and fingertips can touch your upper back. Feel the gentle lift through the back of your heart. And keep your hips heavy. And then all we're going to do is just take your left hand up and over, touch your right elbow. And let the weight of the hand on the elbow. And then draw your body into this position. And the elbow is pretty much straight up, but you can let your chin and soften back in. And you begin to explore as you observe the breath and what you're feeling in your body. And track your patience to become more still. And so that we can stay a little bit longer, especially longer than the mind wants to stay. And I don't know how this is proven, and you can only really discover this inside of yourself, but you might be pleasantly surprised that you learn something or you grow as you evolve in holding something or being in a position and remaining still longer than your mind wants to be there. And you can once again join me. Close your eyes if you'd like to. If the eyes are open, soften the gaze on one spot. And the flame of a candle sometimes can be a really nice drishti point now that we're all at home. And practicing in our personal and our private space. And notice how this part of staying longer than your mind wants to is different than when you first came into the position. And really practice releasing the anticipation of, how long we're going to be here for, or counting yourself down in ways that'll create in these little, walls within our mind, limitations in our beliefs, and kind of stunts our growth and opportunities in different ways, and many times ways that we'll never see. It won't be something that you realize consciously. You write down if your eyes were closed and start to bring them back in. No rush with the movement. You can slide your left hand back down onto your thigh. And then slowly reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And with patience, begin to bring your right hand onto your right thigh. And close your eyes, take a beat, and observe the sensations in your body in right side versus left side. And lower body into your upper body. And tips into your toes, perhaps a fuller breath into your chest. And nice release as you exhale. Lean forward, eyes open, bring your hands onto the mat. And so you're in a tabletop with your prop underneath you. And take your pillows or your blocks, slide them all the way back towards your knees. And we're going to get that object and to go underneath our ribs onto our belly. So come down onto your elbows. Walk your knees back. And if you're using a block, you want the furthest part of the block away from you, still above your pubic bone. You separate your feet a little bit wider. And let's stay on the elbows so you can feel and notice if there's any resistance that moves up the body into your shoulders, into your neck. Just work in softening the belly, releasing the head towards the ground. You might pick up on a little heartbeat in your belly here. You make any little adjustments if you need to, and these are pillows under your belly, maybe a little less intense, but still you let this point of pressure release and what you might be carrying in your low back and your sacrum and your SI joints. If you're feeling pretty good about the release here, you can slide the elbows out. And then let your chest and chin or forehead come all the way down towards the ground. It's a great posture when you're really feeling bolstered with any of the fear, the anxiety, or the stress and that life can present, and we never really know when it's coming and what it's going to feel like, and the important part is that we can realize what we're feeling. If you're really caught up in the jaw, relax the back of the jaw. Soften the tongue inside of your mouth. And let gravity come down and through your body for the last little bit here. If you're willing to explore, keep your eyes closed the entire time. As you begin to lift your head, pull your elbows back in underneath your shoulders. And just so you know where we're going, we're coming back onto our shins. So keep the eyes closed if you'd like. And lift the belly off of the object and crawl back into a seat on your shins, hands on your thighs, and head above your heart. And when you close your eyes, notice what color you see. If it's there, you might feel a little bit of a deeper breath. A well-rounded breath. And a breath that feels more whole and versus scattered and broken apart. Whatever's going on in your belly right now, let's just continue to marinate. And whatever's going on in your belly, take your left arm up towards the ceiling. And you wrap your pinky in, turn your thumb out so you externally rotate from the shoulder. And bring your left hand behind your head. And crawl your fingertips anywhere onto your upper back. It's a deep flexion into the shoulder joint. It's an extension and the other side of your arm and your tricep. Take your right hand up and put it on the top of your left elbow. And left elbow is pretty much pointing straight up. And hips are heavy, and then you're welcome to soften the chin here. And you know the real guidance comes from within. As we open these doors and we can pay more attention. But there's something special about all the people in our lives that have supported us along the way. That external style of guidance. And so if there's been mentors and people in your life that have shown significance for you to be in the version of yourself and where you are today, let's go ahead and give them a little bit of a love bomb tonight, virtually, but it's real at the same time. This is real. So you've given out that love. You can soften. Notice how that changed. I wanted you to see the difference in the way that your mind works. That was taking something, that was pulling it in, and that was doing something with it. And versus sitting and observing. And come back to the observation. Let's feel it all the way. If you made it this long with your eyes closed, slowly release your right hand back down onto your right thigh. And then gently go ahead and take your left hand up. And bring your left hand down onto your left thigh, please. And be still, explore, and observe the space here. You may have forgotten, but your belly was still marinating on that previous release. And soften your chin. Go ahead and let your eyes open for the transition. And then come forward. Feel this. And back into your knees, into your feet. You make your way down onto your elbows. Stagger your knees. Walk them back. And so it's the pillows, it's the block. It's on the soft part of your belly, so below your rib cage, but above your pubic bone. And stay on your elbows. And take the strength out of your legs. And sometimes a little open mouth, yawn, sigh, holler, scream. Don't scare anybody. It might feel good. And you're welcome to stay where you are. If you've got more room to soften, take the elbows out wide. And let your chest and your forehead come down onto the mat. And last 30 seconds here. Of course, you're welcome to keep your eyes closed. Start to lift your head. And crawl your elbows back in. And begin to lift your belly off of the block or the object below it. And let's make our way all the way back into that seated position on our shins. And there should be a significant lightness and that you can realize As you come back, head above your heart. If your breath got a little choppy, let it slow down. And go ahead and take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it out. Soften the chin, open the eyes. If you have the block, bring it out in front of you and then turn it. And so the length of the block is with the length of your mat towards the top right corner. If you don't, again, stack some blankets, fold up that pillow, and then you're going to lean to the left a little bit and bring your right foot onto that object, and so it's raised 4 to 6 inches off the ground. You want your heel to be on. If you're on a block and your foot is bigger than the block, the toes can hang off the front. And this will really let you feel the heaviness in your hips and your pelvis. You're welcome to bring your right hand inside your right foot and start with your arms straight, possibly hands flat. And so your right knee, as you continue to release and relax in this pose, your right knee is going to end up being higher than your right shoulder. That's the direction we're heading in. And practice so that you're maneuvering and manipulating your body less, and just see where it goes. And whatever that looks like, your left arm can remain like a kickstand. Your right hand can slide back to let the shoulder come down. So, I'm sliding right arm back inside my left knee, and with the back of the right hand on the mat, and so that the shoulder can get heavy. Trust me, these shapes sometimes, like, last thing I thought I would be doing is putting my shoulder below my knee. You probably couldn't have expected this one, even if you've done thousands and thousands of detox practices. Yeah, I bet you couldn't expect this one. Heavy head, loosen the neck. Lips, there could be a little space between your lips. And for the last minute, let your head get as heavy as it possibly can. Go ahead and take a breath in here. Hold it for a beat at the top. Open your mouth, sigh, exhale, feel those vibrations and breath in your body. You slide your right hand back up to the top. And come up onto your fingertips and start to lift your shoulder. You'll feel that. Might be a little burning sensation. And then go ahead and slide your right foot back. You make your way onto all fours. You can keep your head heavy. You're welcome to really observe the feelings in your right hip crease. And wag your tail a little bit and side to side. And see how being human is so beautiful in regards to, never expecting that you would have been in that position to now knowing exactly where you're going. It's like that. Life moves fast, everybody. Roll your block over to the left side of your mat. Your pillows or your blankets. Anything to elevate the foot 4 to 6 inches, and then lean to the right and bring your left foot You can reset your right knee, take it back a little bit, angle it out a little bit, and be intuitive with your setup. And of course, there's going to be discomfort. It wouldn't be a detox if there wasn't discomfort that we were sitting with and deepening our relationship with inner peace. And then left hand inside your left foot. And start on your hands. And then the direction is left shoulder lower than your left knee. So right arm can stay as your kickstand. You can reach your left hand back inside your right knee, back of the hand on the mat. And it's a nice way to release the shoulder and start to drop into your pose here. And then even further, think about this. You went from possibly never being in this position in your body ever before in your entire life, and to then coming right back into it, and just the mirrored effect in switching side. The asymmetry is a beautiful process within yoga and practice as we sequence, and you get to observe what it's like before you ever knew that it was going to be, and then what's it like once you have an idea. And if you're ever falling into the kind of boredom phase of yoga and practice, it's normal. There's a nice little nugget that you can chew on is, we're always doing one pose on one side and then the other, and And see what that experience is like and how it evolves through your mind over repetition. You have no idea, and then what happens when you're in the know. And relax the jaw and the tongue. And the neck and the shoulder. 30 seconds. Keep your face relaxed. Start to slide your left hand forward. Come up onto your fingertips. And the shoulder starts to lift higher than the knee. Nice and easy. Go slow. You can slide your left foot back. And come on to all fours, please. You might get a little sigh and let that out. And keep the head heavy if you want to move the tailbone a little bit side to side. All good. And then without the block or the pillows, set them aside. And we're going to treat our low back with a lot of space. Start to crawl your knees back. And come down onto your elbows. Come down onto your hips. And come down onto your belly. And let your big toes touch and your heels fall apart. And then go ahead and lie all the way down onto your chest, and you can just let your chin rest. And so your eyes kind of hang out in front on the floor. And if your floor's interesting, like a bunch of bricks and a bunch of little critters crawling around them, you might observe that. If it's pretty bland, you're welcome to close your eyes. Whatever feels good here. And stay heavy on your chest. Bend your legs so that your heels come over your knees. And nice and slowly just windshield wiper your shins back and forth, side to side. And we've got fairly deep into the expression of your inner thighs and how the muscles called your psoas connect through your pelvis to your lower back. And so don't be surprised if as you're windshield wipering your legs that you feel little pops or little cracks in your hips. And then go ahead and pause at center. And put your right hand under your right shoulder. And your left hand, press your way all the way up to all fours. And now take your yoga block or your pillows, and the length of your block going across the width of your mat up towards the top. And that's going to set underneath our shoulder girdle. And so you might need to slide it forward a little bit, give yourself some room. And your head's going to go back over top, and then you turn around onto your bum. And you bend your legs and come down onto your right elbow and then down onto your left elbow. And you should feel the lowest part of the block, if you got it, or the pillows, just above the middle of your spine if you're thinking about it vertically. And you might stay on your elbows for a beat. You feel this across your back and your shoulders. And then let's begin to open and feel all of this space in from our hips into our ribs, into our chest and our shoulders. And by letting the head come all the way back. Once you get your torso set, now you can feel free to straighten your legs out. Your hips should be heavy, resting onto the ground. Arms can come down by your sides. And close the eyes. It's called a supported fish pose. If you're not feeling it too much and you have something to prop underneath your shoulder girdle a little bit higher, do that. But make sure you're not feeling, something beyond the discomfort in your neck or the kinks. And the kink that you can make at the top of the shoulder is the base of the neck. You want some space there. And so you might feel it, but you don't want it to be overwhelming your mind during this process of letting go. A real gift to the space of your mind is in realizing that while you have no idea where you're going next and how you're going to get there, you do have the practice of breath that is going to support you along the way. And you do have this security and support, and knowing that you're always going to complete your practice in Shavasana or in meditation. Hence, every adventure is really about the mind. and the benefits and the effects that we can receive, and to calm the mind, and to understand in our mind, to become more clear in our mind. But something most people don't realize is that your mind grew out of your pelvis. When you were just a little kidney bean in the embryonic state, then your spine and your mind grew out of your pelvis. And so notice how you're building this relationship for your pelvis to communicate with your mind. Detox. You let yourself bump a few breaths up against your chest. If you want to take a little evening stretch, you're welcome to take your arms slowly over your head. And feel your arms and your shoulders, your navel to your sternum. And then bring either arm back by your side. Use your elbow. A little draw with your belly. Press into your elbow and start to lift your head. It'll feel pretty heavy. You lean to that side. Take the opposite hand behind. Pull out the objects in your block or your pillows or your blankets. And then go ahead and release and lie all the way back down onto your back flat. And feel the space, honor the space. It's been held for you. It's something so much bigger than any of us personally. It's a collective, more of like a universal principle. And so that you can honor and get in touch with the teacher and the wisdom that lives inside of you. It might feel good to take a couple sighs and feel yourself dropping and even sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. It's been real, everyone. I want to thank you for allowing us all to process and to continue to share these experiences. I invite you to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like to this evening. And when you are ready to go, move really slow. And tread with your awareness and with your patience. And continue to be the observer tonight as you flow into the rest of your evening, into your sleep. As we awaken to a new day tomorrow, and we'll get there when we get there. And I hope to see you all on the mat in the AM. And for our flow, Cinco de Mayo. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Namaste.